Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Jay is off this evening. A man accused of carjacking and killing a former Bighorn County sheriff last month pleads not guilty. And just minutes later, a Yellowstone County District Court judge increases bond for the North Carolina transient from $1 to $2 million. Judge Michael Moses cites the big bump in bond because Donald Gray Jr. is also implicated in a second murder across the country. Gray was arrested in Billings following the June 10th death of former Sheriff William Joy. Court documents state Gray stabbed the 81-year-old man to death after an attempted carjacking and left his body in a middle school parking lot. Gray is also suspected of killing a 59-year-old North Carolina woman. Now, that woman, Tamara Gibson, was reported missing in late May. Her car was found burned in Laramie, Wyoming on June 1st. After years of overcrowding, the Yellowstone County Jail now has some much-needed extra space. Q2 Zoe Zandora is standing by to bring us a look. Zoe.
That's right. Today, I went to an open house at the Yellowstone County Detention Facility, adding a new, large, impressive addition to help the city. I was there to take a look and find out more.
Incredible job. These guys, on time, under budget, the quality is just incredible.
The Yellowstone County Detention Facility hosted an open house today for the recently constructed women's unit. In 2012, the facility booked over 10,000 people into the original jail, and in 2013, the number didn't seem to be going down, and the city knew they had to do something with the jail capacity.
Right now, we have some people that we're not putting in jail that probably should be put in jail. Just basically because of the space. You know, when we get up close to 500 people in the existing 286-bed jail, there are some people that we have to turn around.
From 10,000 people booked back in 2012 to 6,700 today shows the conscious effort the city has made to keep those out who don't belong in jail and those in who do. One of the problems the department faced is the increase in the number of women that were being incarcerated.
When I was working patrol, and then when I was eventually assigned to the Marshals Task Force, I was coming in here every day, into the existing unit every day, and I just saw people in the intake units and in the booking area and stuff, just how busy it was and how crowded it was, and just sometimes the look on the staff's face about, oh, you're bringing in another one, that type of stuff. And where were we going to put them? And especially the women, because we were seeing more and more of that.
The new addition to the Yellowstone County Detention Facility is designed to hold 148 people, from state to federal inmates. The expansion will allow women to be classified and housed in either maximum, medium, or low security units.
And some good news for some taxpayers tonight.
That's right. They're a little under budget. They're under $16 million, which is good news. That's what the sheriff is telling me.
It looks ready. So when do they expect to move everyone in?
There's no definitive date, but they say within the next 2 weeks or so. So yeah, it's very impressive. It's big, and they're very happy to have it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Zoe. And onto the weather scene. A warning for our region. Bob, we could have a repeat of last night tonight.
Yeah, I was already starting to see a little bit of the action. Let me show you what we have going for us tonight. This is our thunderstorm outlook. Just like yesterday, Billings is kind of like the staging area. Then those storms get worse the farther east they go. Now tonight here in Billings, we have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. A little farther east and towards the southeast, it's an increased risk of severe thunderstorms. So let me show you what's happening out there right now. Doppler radar shows you a little line of showers and thunderstorms just off to the west of Billings. That one did contain some dime-size hail. They continue to move towards the northeast. Now the other storm that's east of Billings, that just has a lot of rain in it. Had made its way through Custer. Now it's making its way into Rosebud County. We'll pull back and show you that we have a severe thunderstorm watch also for Carter County tonight for some big thunderstorms. And here's how this is all going to play out. You'll see the showers to the west of us now. By 9 o'clock, they'll be moving into the Billings area, and I think probably over there by Carter County. Then after that, once those storms are done, we are too, and we're into sunny skies for about the next 7 days. We'll have more on that in a few more minutes.
All right. Thanks so much, Bob. Two of America's largest tobacco companies have already put more than $850,000 into defeating a Montana ballot measure that would raise state tobacco taxes. Altria Client Services, formerly known as Philip Morris, and Reynolds American reported their initial spending this week against Initiative 185. Now, if passed, I-185 would raise state taxes on cigarettes by $2 a pack. The measure also would permanently extend Montana's Medicaid expansion program, which provides government-funded health coverage to 96,000 low-income Montanans. I-185 has yet to qualify for the ballot, but its supporters appear to have submitted the minimum number of signatures. Altria and Reynolds have spent about $854,000 so far, including money on consultants, focus groups, and research. Spending on the pro-I-185 side hasn't been cheap either. So far, proponents have raised and spent $932,000, mostly to get the measure qualified for the ballot. Now, Montana hospitals and a coalition of healthcare, labor, and low-income groups are behind that measure. A proposed initiative to stop transgender people from using certain public restrooms or locker rooms in Montana will not make the November ballot. Supporters of Initiative 183 say they fell well short of the necessary number of voter signatures. In fact, only about 9,000 verified signatures of the 25,000 needed. The initiative would have required public restrooms and locker rooms to be used by people of only one sex. It also defines sex or gender as a person's biological sex at the time of birth. Jeff Laszloffy of the Montana Family Foundation says the pro-I-183 effort was harmed by a state Supreme Court ruling last fall that forced supporters to abandon thousands of signatures they had gathered and start over. But he also says he believes transgender locker room access will be more clearly defined by the U.S. Supreme Court within the next year or so. Opponents, including the American Civil Liberties Union, said the measure sought to punish Montana's transgender community by denying them access to public facilities. Well, crews were out this morning closing down the rims for the 4th of July holiday. The closures include the area along the rims from Main Street in the Heights along the south side of Highway 3 to Zimmerman Park. Zimmerman Park and Phipps Park are included in those closures. There will be no access for vehicles, bikes, or pedestrians until the area is reopened. After years of closing the rims for the holiday, the fire department made the decision to open them last year as an experiment. Now, Fire Chief Bill Rash says he patrolled the area last year and observed concerning things, causing the city to keep the rims closed this year. Well, safety over the 4th of July isn't just important for humans. The 4th and 5th of July are the busiest days of the year for animal shelters responding to calls about lost pets. Betsy Snow, a volunteer for Bark, advises owners to have current photos of your animals in the event they run off. ID tags with updated information and microchipping your animal can also be beneficial in getting them home. And Snow tells us if your animals are scared of fireworks, secure them in a safe room, in a crate if possible, and add some background noise to help drown out the commotion. And after it's all said and done, make sure to clean up your celebration space.
Pastures and yards can have remnants of bottle rockets and all sorts of fireworks that may have residual chemicals on them. And animals are curious, they may pick them up and chew on them, and that could be harmful.
And Snow also says if you currently do not have tags for your animals, at least attach tape with your information to their collars. Coming up on tonight's 5:30 News, if you're needing a pick-me-up story, this next story might give you a reason to grab that extra cup of joe in the morning. And in sports, Scott catches up with one of the world's top steer wrestlers during this Cowboy Christmas.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.